Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we got a game in the Scourge of Tier 6 Weimar German light cruiser. Not currently available, probably won't be available again due to the ferocity of its approach to life. But there is the München, which is a similar thing, basically the same ship, in fact, more or less. Same stats, just one less gun per turret. But that doesn't mean that that ship's bad, it just means this one's super good. So... The other day I was going through my Tier 6 premiums, looking at the XP. Some of them have quite a lot of XP on them, like the Kid. I think I had over 1 million XP. I don't play a lot of ships over and over again, but the Kid's probably, I think it's my most played ship currently. And then a lot of the other premiums were well below 100,000 XP, and I figured, well, I'll put some miles on some of those guys, make sure I got my familiarity up to date with them. Weimar, one of those ships, you might be saying to yourself, why would you not have a lot of XP on the Weimar? And it's just kind of like having access to such terrible power. How often do you want to use it? You know, it's kind of rough on the opponents, let's just say, when we get the Weimar going. But it's always fun to take out. So here's the latest incarnation game on the map, Ring, and we're capture the base mode here. So because of that, I'm feeling I want to play a central position here. Usually in the Ring, if I got battleship or cruiser, I do like to play more or less in the spawns. Now, it's not just because I don't like to move around or anything, but you can fire on the majority of the map from that area, and you got some pretty good cover. You can kind of move around and protect yourself from anyone that's shooting at you. Tallinn, very dangerous. We don't want to be getting shot by that thing a lot. I'm trying to primarily get behind covers so we can weather shots from ships like that, but he's already got us down about a quarter of our health, and then he gets behind his cover. We open up on the Queen Elizabeth with the AP now. Now the Tallinn we're going to continue to eye with interest, and anytime I feel like I got a shot at him, we're going to go ahead and pull the trigger on that one. But keep an eye on these values when we're hitting that Queen Elizabeth superstructure. AP broadside, you're going to be getting 5,000 damage a lot of times per salvo, and note that these things are reloading about every 4 seconds or so. Tallinn's got an interest in sinking me just like I do to him, and he's pulling off. Now I can switch over to the HE and then kind of try and lead him, but when he's making these evasive maneuvers, he's going to be a little bit harder to hit than the Queen, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe if I stop shooting at him, he'll stop shooting at me. Professional courtesy. And then I can get behind cover and see what goes on from there. But then I note, oh, he's low. Okay, well, now that he's really low and he's broadside again, a lot easier to hit, we're going to turn our attention back to him. Tallinn, again, very dangerous AP on that thing. But when you have the opportunity to take it out, you do want to go ahead and do so. And the Caracciolo gets him there with a great shot. So that's kind of the main thing that I'm worried about is over here. We do have the destroyer way off on the wing. That's fine. We just kind of... One of the ancillary benefits of being kind of in the base area on this map is we got access to the base, and we can kind of keep an eye on it. Or we can even make a play for the enemy base. I mean, this is a pretty small map. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that there's Tier 6 ships on this one in this day and age. But nevertheless, we got quite a lot of good map control. You can see our firing ring basically covers almost the entirety of the red team at this point in time. It just depends on who we want to be shooting at. That's where we're going to move. And we are going to turn our focus over here, because now that the Tallinn's dead, the Queen Elizabeth's low, the Maz, he's not really doing anything too dangerous yet, but we got radar cruisers over here, Atlanta, there's a Nuremberg, and they're attacking our last destroyer. That's right, you can see we're just 3 minutes in the game, and 2/3 of our team's destroyers are gone. That means this guy's doing an amazing job lasting more than 2 minutes. These days, the destroyers got places to go, people to see. They don't have time for full matches very often. But we're trying to keep him alive. He is in a GWEP, and he is shooting in the open water against 2 cruisers that reload very rapidly. So not probably the approach that I would personally have advocated for the GWEP to take, but nevertheless, he is no more. Atlanta, though, we catch him as he's in the turn, far in the 45-degree angle, and he gone there with a vicious strike from the Weimar, and that's nasty. And I'm actually trying to go for the double strike here. We got about 7 seconds to target. I don't know if we would have made it or not, but the Nuremberg does pull off there before we can test the ability to get the double strike at range like that. And that's just a testament to these guns, man. That Atlanta, now he was in the process of his turn, and if you're aiming on these ships when they're turning, what I was referencing with the 45-degree angle is basically he was about halfway through his turn, and that's kind of when they're at the slowest and they're, you know, the most predictable. So that's a shot I like to look for on destroyers that are evading, cruisers, even in some certain situations on battleships, depending on what you're firing at them. That's a good opportunity to hit them. So rewind there if you want to, if you're not quite exactly sure what I'm talking about, but you can, if you look at it again, you might see how we kind of waited for the perfect moment. Gneisenau, now we backed up here to fire from cover. Keeping an eye on the map, that destroyer, I think it's the Maz, he is nearly in a position where he's going to have a line of sight on us, so I do have to be careful here. And unfortunately, because that Gwep did die, he's not spotting, so this Gneisenau dropping spot intermittently there. We did get a fair amount of damage, though. Even at range, you know, these AP shells can do quite a bit of damage. So the moral of the story with the ship is, even if you don't have it, go ahead and shoot it whenever you see it, because it's one of those ships. There's been a handful throughout the years, but this is one of them. If you leave it alone and you let it do its thing, it's going to wreck your day. Okay, I think the last 2 or 3 games in a row I've played this ship, I've gotten a Kraken in it. And maybe that's for foreshadowing that for what's coming up here or not, but we'll see exactly how it plays out. Anyway, we got the Caracciolo on our own team here. I think that's what that battleship is. He's kind of there. He spots the Maz, I think, so that's a good thing. Maz getting pretty close. I think he's going for a suicide strike. Needs to keep an eye on the support, though, and we're pretty close to that battleship, so we should be considered support. We do have another salvo coming here now. When I was playing, I assumed it was for me, but I'm looking back at this, I don't. I'd have to double check whether I was spotted or not. I don't actually think I was, so I think now that strike's probably for the battleship. But nevertheless, that reveals the location of the second destroyer, roughly. I'm assuming he's kind of in the middle here, so I'm charging right into him. We also do need to be careful about the plane, because look at the game situation here. 4 ships to 3. We're only about midway through the match. Now, it's not a long match at this point in time, but 95 to 90, basically on the scoreboard. So we got about or 95-point lead, I'm sorry, is what I'm trying to say. So we're doing good, but that's basically just due to the fact that we got extra ships. So keeping an eye on things here, and then there's the destroyer spotted, and him getting on the base is going to give these guys a tiebreaker, basically. How capture the base mode works is if you get a ship on our base, if red gets a ship on our base, then our 2 points per 5 seconds stops. Theirs continues in the background. You can see there just a moment ago, both teams got 2 points. But now that once he gets on our base, we're not going to get that anymore. Then their background lead increases, and all things equal, which is basically the default, you know, if each team loses the same amount of ships of a given weight, then we're tied until now. Now they're going to have the lead. So this is a problem. I want to charge after him. I want to get him off the board, but Gneisenau was coming around the bend, and we had to deal with him first. If I charge out there willy-nilly, this isn't a run-and-gun operation here in the Weimar. He would have blasted us sooner or later. So had to get rid of him first. Maybe even a little bit too aggressive in our positioning there because we couldn't really be behind cover. But now I'm elected to go around the island into the base from the west. Now, that's not how I'd want to do it. I want to go from the south into the southeast side of the base, but I couldn't turn around to do that. Why is that? Because the destroyer is going from west to east, and basically all he can disengage at this point in time now. They do have the lead, and as long as we don't sink a destroyer or the carrier, then they win the game. Okay, so it's still a long time, a lot of time left on the clock, a long time to be executing that play. Yes, I get that, and we do have a carrier who could potentially find him, but there's no benefit for him being on this base. He's not going to kill me, especially now that he whiffed the torp salvo, and I'm just waiting for the plane to spot him. So I'm hoping the plane go around the far edge of the cap. He's coming right towards me. It's like, yo, I can already spot the destroyer if he's near me, go on the other side, and then it looks like he's going to go through the base. I'm getting a little frustrated with the carrier here, but again, he did torp just a moment ago, so I'm not too worried at the moment. There he is, though, finally, and we got the sonar on. Our sonar range 5-4, and this is what destroyers need to know and fear about the German cruisers, is once they get you within their grasp of the sonar, you're really in serious trouble. You're going to have a very hard time getting away from these. A lot of these cruisers are quite fast, and many cases they can even outrun you. And Z-35 certainly a slow ship, so he's struggling to get away here. He's got the smoke. I don't know if he didn't realize what's going on or just deployed it out of habit or whatever. It's not a bad play to deploy it just in case I get killed, but no, you're done. I mean, you got to stay the heck away from this thing. So he should have sailed basically through the cap and then maybe out the eastern side of it and tried to run away would have been my suggestion, and then maybe use that smoke if the carrier was harassing them. But you cannot let these German high-tier cruisers get anywhere near you as a destroyer, because once they get you in their clutches, there's nothing you can do. So they're not as dangerous in general as radar cruisers, because the radar cruisers have a much greater range, but that's a shorter duration. It's a quick strike. You need to act very quickly, hopefully in concert with your teammates when using radars to get those destroyers down. Otherwise, you know, at least hopefully you're grievously wounding them. Sonars, on the other hand, if used properly, you can't get away. you won't survive the duration of the consumable. So you got to get kind of lucky. But just stay the heck away from these things. Destroyers far too willing to be near cruisers in general in this game. But German cruisers are terrifying as a destroyer player. It's anytime you get near them, you need to be panicking. Okay, I got two options to engage this Ranger because we are going for a Kraken here. And I should note, if you have any small animals or children in the room, you might want to pause the video now and remove them from this situation, because this is going to get nasty. But I could go to the right of this island here. I was wary, you know, I could have kept all the guns comfortably on the left and fired full cells if we had the shot, but I was getting wary that we'd be behind the island for a little while and didn't want this kill to get away from me. So I elect to go forward here. Note in between shots, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep spinning the guns to the left of the nose, and that's to keep those back guns roughly in position. Okay, I don't want them spinning all the way to the right here, because then I have to go the opposite direction, and I want to attack this guy as quick as possible and go around the island with him if he does manage to get there. So that's basically what I'm doing there. These guns spin fast enough that it's worthwhile to do that, but it's often worth doing that just to manage your back guns whenever you can't really use gun lock because of how quickly you're moving things around. So Ranger, full health to basically no health. He does get away though, he's behind there. And now I'm like, oh god, this dang carrier on our team is going to snag the Kraken at the last second. It's not the end of the world if it happens. I mean, I take wins way more readily than Krakens. You know, they're just kind of bonuses whenever they happen. But he does continue to come around the island. We get the shot off, and we will put him down there for the 5th kill. And a pretty solid scoring game here. I think it's about 3,800, give or take. So that's a look at the Weimar for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.